right, y'all, if William pans the camera out that way, you can see the students walking away. But here we are. Everything is doing exactly as it ought to. John, what do you think?
I never had a doubt. Of course it's doing everything it ought to.
What do you say?
It's big. Like, you don't really have, you can see this. So I've seen hundreds of videos on swales, right? I've seen all kinds of social media stuff on swales. I've heard about Jack Spirko talk swales for 15 years, right? And I kind of had an idea what it was. Then you see it in video and you see it from aerial view and you're like, okay, I get it. But until you actually see them put in and how they are, like, you can't really connect, right? It doesn't work. It's like me trying to describe to you what root beer tastes like, but you've never tasted root beer. And then once you actually see it in person, you now know what it is and what root beer tastes like.
Now you have a legit, this place ultimately is going to be a pretty legit demonstration site. So this is the beginning of it. Remember, folks, my voice is about shot, so if I sound different, you know why. Do your earthworks first. Okay, so all these flags up here representing trees, as we've talked about before, but what we're going to look at the other swales, but what's really special about this is we got a pond over here. And John, why don't you tell them about this pond and what the mistake was and how we rectified
Well, it wasn't even supposed to be a pond. That's the pond over there. And we have some leaks in the pond. So we were using bentonite clay, we tamped it in, and we wanted to conceal the clay. So we dug this hole, my guys dug this hole for the red clay to kind of pack over the bentonite to try to patch the leaks. And that didn't work. But what this did was, because it's clay and it's a big pit, it started to fill with water and was holding water. So we dug it deeper. If we have this much surface area, we want to use it to hold water. We always thought it's kind of the top of the property. We could pump it if we ever needed to pump somewhere. So it's deep and it holds water. It holds a lot of water. We had 100, 105 degree temps this year, which we usually don't have. It's been super dry for, I don't know, 3 months, which we also don't have. It's never like this. It's never this low, and now it is. So now we've turned it into, it will feed this. This will feed that, and once it's at that level, it will back feed. And then we can take it, when it does back feed, and we can connect this big swale to the 9 micro swales over there where we're growing all the fodder trees for animal feed.
So here's how this works, y'all. I'm going to show it to you. John's going to stay here because he's got his house slippers on. So check this out. We got a spillway. We got this swale that goes basically off the spillway of the old pond. It's about 3 feet higher. So that pond can get up to where I am. And this is something of a spillway between this swale and the pond. So if the swale gets too full, bam, it's going to backfill the pond till they're both full. And then we're going to go down the other end and we're going to show you where it goes. So if you look back this way, that's where the pond and everything else was. Now we're on the other way where we got the spillway, which is about 4 inches higher than the spillway between the pond and the swale. So John, tell them what happened.
So if we have a rapid water event, if we have so much water that it overguns this system, this is a spillway also, which will spillway into that pond. We're eventually going to connect it to this set of 9 micro swales. The grass is tall, but we can walk over there at some point if you want to and see those fodder trees also. So this will water that, and then the overflow for that will cut down into this pasture over here about halfway down where we'll put a small pond. That small pond will still have some fall to it. We're about halfway in that paddock, and that will fall into a swale down on the fence line, which does not exist yet.
Here's what else is cool, y'all. Make sure you're paying attention. You're seeing a hose coming in and out of here. What we got in here are a bunch, now we got it scatter mulched, but down underneath that, we have a couple of legumes.
You can see all this.
Yep, you can even see them down in there right now by some of the places where we didn't scatter mulch very thick. Probably ought to hit that a little bit more. We also put in comfrey, which, by the way, if you need any, we got it at the website.
You can see it sprouting. All this cowpea here, it's already sprouting.
It's already, wow, already right out of the gates. So we got cowpea and buckwheat all up and down here, even down in the ditch. This is gonna blow up. But remember, what's very critical is that until we got a rain event, and it was a pretty significant rain event a little while ago, but the cool thing is everything is in place. We want to get those seeds off and running. We want to tie this thing together as best and as quickly as we can. So that's what the hose is. Till those seeds are ready, and then when we don't have rain, John's going to be able to water this stuff.
And that's what that is. This hose was actually set up to water these swales. We just drag it back for these rainbirds. And we watered on the first day. The second day, which is today, we had rain last night and rain this morning. These seeds have not been on the ground for 36 hours.
No.
And we're already sprouting up. When we have our Self-Reliance Festival here October 1st and 2nd, this stuff will be growing. It'll be in full effect.
How cool is that? So you want to make sure, look y'all, everybody keeps asking, what does a swale look like? How do we do it? Well, here in the future, Nicole's going to put together a video, and it's going to be a comprehensive understanding of how to do that. But this is just one of 3 swales that we installed in really record time. And we had an army of students out here to come help. We're going to talk to them also, but let's go check out these other swales. All right, so here we are at the other swales. This is at the bottom of the property. We're closer to the bottom of the property.
Closer.
John's going to give us a tour, but check it out. We could have just rammed one giant swale between here, but take a look at where he's walking.
So I've always heard access, right? And that's actually your number 1, right? I've heard you guys say access is number 1. I never really understood access until I saw the swale thing. And I didn't realize access, swale, and how big swales are. I'm like, I ain't worried about that. I'm just gonna ride my 4-wheeler over the swale. And I really believed that. And I still might. Like, we might build like a metal bridge.
Don't do that.
Well, I mean, we're gonna build a metal bridge so that because I don't want to ride around the one up top. I'll build a bridge, like a metal bridge.
Yeah.
But that's access. So this swale is split here because of this fence. We put these fences all in at like 18 feet so that we can bring tracked equipment at 16 if we ever need to. But that's the access thing, and that's why it's split here. There's actually going to be another swale down there also. That burn pile is in the way of it.
How cool is that? But then John, tell them what we got way down the hill as far as that pond and how it all integrates with all this.
So all of this will spill. When this overflows, it will overflow in a manner that it will make it. You can see what the earth already does. The water travels through here. We put tons of seed all over this field, and then it rained really good, and we scatter mulched it. We put straw over it and watered it. But when it really rained, it all migrated, and that's why it's so big right there. That is the flow of the water for the property naturally. So this water will overflow and make its way into that pond. We will put a reed bed over there to capture that water, slow it down going into the pond, and somewhat filter it also.
So what else is going in here? Look, y'all, remember this is permaculture systems. We don't do anything in a vacuum. There's even talk right now as far as because this is the camping area out here.
Yes.
And it's okay, so you got camping, so how do you make it better? What were your plans that are going to be happening?
We're putting 2 showers here in a couple of weeks. Like it's designed last night. It's already in motion. We're putting 2 showers, a little elevated. They will run off the hose water right there, but we're going to stage tanks eventually on tower, so IBC totes. How we'll fill those? Probably off hose for right now, but we'll have the ability to have that water because we do break pipes here. It's usually me. I'm digging in the wrong places. But then we shut them off. So there are 2 showers. The drain for the shower will go into the swale. That's what's going in there.
Right. Now so there you go, y'all. Permaculture in action. You could have it hit a reed bed first and then go into the swale. He's not worried about
I'm not worried about the smell because we have smells here everywhere. I mean, there's 200 chickens right on the other side of the hill.
But you can't smell them because he's running them right.
Well, you can smell it when you get close. You know they're there. But we have a paper mulch plant, a paper pulp plant. It always smells like farts in here. Well, so sometimes it smells.
That's the beauty, y'all. So it's not just putting these swales in a vacuum, or not just because, hey, swales are cool. No, there is a function to all of this, and it's all going to be integrated. This is just the beginning of what's going to probably be the best permaculture demonstration site in all of North America. There's a whole lot going on here that you don't get. No, we just talked about the sheep tractor in the previous video. So all of that will be integrated, the sheep, the chickens, the swales, the trees, the berries, everything, all within this environment where it all works with one another, and also putting pieces of it that are human elements like a shower and having that drain into the swale, have that interactive. That's exactly what we want to do, y'all. So that's why in the future, John, you're looking to make basically is this going to stay a camping ground, or is it going to evolve into something else?
Right? So we throw a lot of monkey wrenches into things. When William came in and we were talking swales and access, and I'm like, look, I still want to be able to run razors through here 50 miles an hour, like, because we do all the time. Guys will come in, we'll get in the cars, and there'll be 5 dudes out here just running through here and tearing over the property. There's trails that you don't see on the outside of the fence lines and stuff. There used to be a motocross track. So number 1, I still want to be able to run through here at speed when I want to. Number 2, we still have to have access to allow people to camp here. And number 3, we're going to do all that other stuff that shouldn't be able to be done with those other limitations. And we're going to show you that I can do whatever I want to do.
Also the shooting range.
And yeah, there's a shooting range right there. We're 165 yards to the back. The burn pile's in the way, but there's a ton of steel targets. And that shooting range over there, it's 50, 60 feet thick. It's 30 feet tall. Like they shoot 50 cals with that thing out here. So we still have to be able to have shooting lanes here also.
So this has all got to be integrated within your design, and there's no reason it can't all happen. And at the same time, creating a holistic system where we're growing tons of food. And you know what's really the best part about all this is that, do you feel like you've learned a lot over this weekend?
Oh, absolutely. Learned a ton. Like I thought I knew. That's the thing. Until you see these, like the only word I can think of to even describe them is grand. Like I don't have another. When I went up there, I'm like, holy hell, this thing's like, I'm like, you dug a fighting position. And if you're like prepper guy, like this literally is a fighting position. You could sandbag or rock bag or Hesco barrier the backside. It legitimately is a fighting position.
This is like a World War I trench.
It is.
Almost.
It's literally a trench warfare that will produce food and self-water itself.
Win, 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 win. That's what I'm talking about, y'all. So let's talk about, we're going to talk with some of the other students in this thing and find out whether or not this was a good investment of their time. All right, y'all, here we are. More people out here at the swale class. Nicole organized all of this and everything else that we pretty much are involved with. This is the brains behind the operation. And of course, in the beginning of this video, you heard music. And this is the one that made it for us. This is Tess. Testimony, go check out her. You got a YouTube channel now, and you got a
podcast.
How can they check it out?
Yes, so right now you can go to my YouTube channel. That's where all my music is at. I'm also on all streaming platforms as Testimona. And as far as the podcast, that is called The Great Silencing Podcast with Testimona. It is live on YouTube now, and next week it will be live on all podcast streaming platforms. And you can also go to testimona.com or find me on any social media at Testimona.
So you'll find that all down below. And of course, this one here knows she needs no introduction.
I totally do.
Well, what's going to happen is, if I say it, everything we've ever filmed with Nicole ended up being something we couldn't use. For some reason, there was some sort of technical glitch, whatever. I don't know what happens. She's like a walking EMP. So there's no EMP shields on this phone.
So go to EMP Shield and get that installed before you have me to your house.
Yeah, so we're all protected in that way. But Nicole organizes so much. So you just did a workshop last weekend, right? And then now you got this one.
Last weekend I did a canning digital workshop.
How can they find that?
Webinar. The way you find that is go to Live Free Academy and look for the How to Can Beef webinar, and you can buy that big bad boy for $47 over at Live Free Academy. I think it's livefreeacademy.com. And then if you want to find me and interact with me, head out to livingfreeintennessee.com. That is the name of my podcast. So if you just type Living Free in Tennessee in your podcatcher, it'll totally come up. If you use a podcatcher or network that does not come up, and you need to go to my website, livingfreeintennessee.com, click on the contact form and let me know, and I'll do my best to get there. So that's how you find me, and things at that website link you to a lot of these other activities. It'll take you to where you can go to get to our next workshop, which is going to be plant guilds and some other things like that.
Yeah, we're going to be doing all kinds of wonderful things that are going to build on what we taught here.
Right.
But is there going to be an electronic version of how to get this, what we just did this weekend?
Absolutely. So we've been shooting video this whole time, and we're putting together the Swale workshop video class, working with Billy to get that produced as quickly as possible, and then we'll put it out on all of our networks. We'll have it at selfreliancefestival.com, livingfreeintennessee.com, and I dare I say permapasturesfarm.com.
You'll have a way to get all that. That's right.
Yeah.
So all the people that reached out to us and asked, hey, is there an electronic way to get to this class? This is by far the most comprehensive video that we have ever done to date. And the reason why is because we're not in charge. She is. She's the one that basically set this up and made it all.
Has nothing to do with the video lady who was like, and another question.
Yeah. So she's an old hand at, and I'm not saying this because she's old. She's actually a little bit younger than me. Anyway, she is an old hand at homesteading and has been for a long, long time. Tess is new to all this. Did you get anything out of this swale class? If so, what?
Well, I learned what a swale was, first off.
That's important.
Yep. First off, And now it's all got to simmer. I also filmed everything and took notes. It's all got to simmer. I'm going to go back home and talk to all my friends who are in the same situation as me, where we are trying to get out of the cities onto some land. This is something that we can incorporate into it. And then also a lot of resources that are going to be on the video that you guys are going to have access to. I mean, between what we learned and demonstrated hands-on, and also just the information that you guys gave us to check out further, like, I feel like I just have so much research and resources regarding permaculture, so I feel a lot better.
How cool is that,
onto
y'all?
some land now, because I had no idea anything what I was doing, and now I at least have a place to start and some pitfalls that I can avoid in advance. So,
all right, y'all, here's some of the remnants of the swale class or the swale workshop. And oh, look at this, we got Rosie in here too. She's one of my favorites. She's one of my best butchers.
Tum-tum, baby.
So they got a YouTube channel, B2B Farmstead. I forgot about the Farmstead.
I have a TikTok. It's RMS Sal 2. I make spirited sweets. Next festival, October 1st and 2nd. Be there, be square.
There you go. We're out here, and they sat through the squale.
That's they said don't say that
It's
word
been a long
again, right?
time. Y'all
Don't say
think,
moist either.
did you get anything out of this?
Yes, I did.
Yes.
Micro.
Oh yeah, definitely.
What do you think you got the most of or least?
Well, I'm not intimidated by the swales, definitely. I mean, just being able to digest it in small bites was really a great thing.
Well, just the idea where it will and won't work on our property, right?
Yes.
Because we live on a lot of elevation, just like you do.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of angle to it. And we were thinking about whether it would or wouldn't work in some of our.
So swales, if they don't work, then maybe you don't need them, or you might want to go with something they were talking to us about. So if you can't do swales, what are you thinking about doing out there?
Terraces, definitely.
Where's the inspiration from that?
I was born in the Philippines, lived there for 10 years, and I've seen rice terraces, and my family had them, so definitely. I mean, instantly when I saw those hills, I was like, you pick terraces, not rice terraces, but you pick terraces was.
How cool is that? So that's the cool thing about coming to things like this, y'all. We meet so many wonderful people. This is not the first time we've ever met them. William met them before in a consultation, and we saw them before at the last festival they had down here. And that's the beauty about going to things like that, is that you meet them one time, and then you become friends, and then you see them again. It's like a homecoming. So it's always a joy to be out here. And then now, Rosie is exactly the same way. She tried to get everybody drunk with all these candies that she's making.
You
It's
want
got
JD
whiskey in
and
it.
Coke in a cup? I've got you right here. It's cake made with a can of soda, JD homemade frosting. Carry it around. Uncle Sammy ain't gonna know. It's just a cupcake.
Okay, who knew? Freedom in a whole new cell. All right. All right, another student out here, Austin, man of many hats. Just met him here at this one. And the cool thing, okay, not only do we talk permaculture during this whole thing and swales and everything else, which he's tired of hearing. It's like the word moist. So not only is he tired of hearing that word, but also we had some pretty deep conversations about a great many things last night. Want to bring any of those up?
No, I think they're special. And stay between us. If you want to know more, you just got to show up. You just got to be here.
He's got a good point there. So did you pick anything out of here that you're going to take home? What
So
did
much, yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Anything in
Absolutely.
particular?
Yeah, I'm gonna go design some swales and do some ponds. Hopefully, get your son out to my property.
All right. Well, it sounds like he's not far from us.
Yeah, neighbors.
So yeah, we're practically neighbors. Yeah, just separated by 100 miles. So
Very cool.
cool to meet you out here, bro.
Absolutely, you as well.
What's up with the hot sauce?
Dude, bring it everywhere.
John, yours.
So what do y'all think is the biggest thing that you're taking away? I know you have a high concentration on preparedness. Did you see some overlap in between swales and preparedness?
Absolutely. Yes. Being able to trap the water and use the water and utilize it in an efficient, effective way is priceless. So learning how to actually have the water directed so it can water all of your plants. Not just trapping it, but using it in all kinds of different ways to water, to self-water all of your, trees, food forest, your orchard, whatever. So, but yeah, it was a wonderful experience. Thank you both very much.
Well, thank you, Mandy. I hear from you all the time on YouTube. Did you get a couple of things out of here you like?
Oh yeah, way more than what we paid for. What the price they charge is nothing, and we're so ready to take everything that you taught us and put into action and make it even bigger scale than when we come here. I was kind of a little bit lost, and now it's like the vision and the goals that we have, it starts to manifest itself. Right now it's in our head, but when we go home, we're going to put it on a paper, just like you said, plan it all out on paper first. You make a mistake, make it on there, and then we're going to have William come out and have him as a third person. That way we do it right, and the foundation of putting everything together is everything. That way, if you have the low risk of making a big mistake.
Do you feel like seeing it three-dimensionally, the swale, instead of looking at it on a blackboard?
Oh my God,
did it help
yeah.
a great deal to be able to put your hands on it and see it?
Yeah, because
and be a part of all of it?
I've been, for me, I've been doing a lot of research on YouTube and looking at, even through your video, people doing the swells and different things, but until you come here and actually see how it's done and actually participate, then you're kind of still at loss. You still second guess yourself. You still kind of, it's not clear.
Right.
But once you see how it's done and you show us exactly what to do, and we kind of follow your guidance, and it's like, wow, you build that self-confidence to be able to, we can do this.
Good.
We can do this. It's more of reality than trying to figure out yourself.
Well, that just gives me all kinds of joy knowing, because that's really what I was hoping for with this course, is that we just didn't do it in the theoretical realm, that we could sit there, put our hands on it. Now you know exactly what you ought to plant in there, how you ought to go about this, how you can even use it in a tactical setting, because we covered a great deal of that. Because this good man over here, it sounds like if we talk more, we're going to have a whole lot of overlap in a bunch of different things in terms of preparedness, because permaculture and preparedness are like peanut butter and jelly. All right, here we are a day later, and we're finally home. Didn't get in till dark 30 last night, but it's a very good kind of tired, because we basically got to evangelize this fantastic design science with a bunch of wonderful people, and it was a real joy. It really was. So all of you out there that were there, thank you so much for showing up, and I'm looking forward to you sending me emails and everything else about all the wonderful things you're doing with earthworks at your property. So all you people out there that were sending emails and messages and everything else wondering how you can get some of this information, stay tuned, because here before long, we'll let anybody who's signed up for our mailing list, which we just added to the website, or anybody that's ever ordered anything from us in the past, you'll be made aware of it as soon as it becomes available. So, with that said, y'all, this stuff isn't rocket science. You can do it. It's not that difficult. In fact, it'll be spelled out for you, chapter and verse. And this was all recorded by a serious Hollywood director. How about that? Anyway, if you need anything from us, bone sauce, comfrey salve, even the stuff down below, whether it's an EMP shield to learn how to process your chickens, y'all, it's all right there. So I want to give a big shout out to everybody that showed up. I want to give a shout out to Nicole Sauce at Living Free in Tennessee. You want to check out that fantastic podcast. You want to check out Special Operations Equipment over there. The people who've actually let us use their place is what's going to be one fantastic permaculture demonstration site. Look forward to all the developments in the future, and we're going to do a lot more in that space. So keep your eyes and ears peeled for what's going to happen in the future. We're going to make it happen. Really, really big things coming up out there. Things you get to put your hands on and see up close and personal. So now we have that spot. All right. So until next time, this is Billy from Perma Pastures Farm, where permaculture is my passion. My voice is gone.